Hello, it's Real Dog Does Politics here with another video for you all. So this week we had a really tragic event unfold in Charlottesville in America, which I wanted this video to talk about a little bit, and how Trump first and foremost responded to it, which was, too little too late in my opinion. So yeah, so if you weren't sure on what actually happened, basically a Unite the Right group meeting was taking place in Charlottesville in response to another sort of leftist group of like anti-racist sort of, and they sort of both came together, and it turned into this violent sort of riot of like people holding Confederate flags, actual like also Nazi like swastika flags as well. So you had proper like extreme right wing white guys, white supremacists, like really violent, really wanting to cause some disruption, holding like tiki torches, going through the streets and like plowing people over with cars. Several people injured, and one person fatally actually lost their life. I think it was like a 30-something-year-old woman called Heather, who sadly like lost her life as a result of this happening. Tragic, really tragic. And so in response to this, obviously, like you had huge communities like saying, wanting the President Trump to condemn this behaviour and condemn the actions of this extreme right-wing, Nazis is pretty much what they were. Like, real, like, hateful, hate-filled people who want to, like, just cause massive amounts of, like, just disruption and racist, xenophobic, violent behaviour and attitudes that have only been perpetuated by people like Trump, and to an extent like the right-wing media there, who just push this agenda of like anti-immigrant, anti-black, like police brutality against like people of other races. And it actually took Trump upwards of 3 days to fully respond properly. It took for him to be dragged in front of a microphone, in front of press, to actually fully respond to and actually call out the violence for what it was, which was, racist, neo-Nazi, white supremacists, because that's what they are. If you see something, you should, like, right-wing terrorist groups, domestic violence in your country, call it out for what it is. Neo-Nazi white supremacists. You can't hide, there's no like tiptoeing around it. That is what it is. And Trump back in his campaign, his election campaign, was talking about, you're not like a proper leader if you can't like name your enemy, name your threat for what it is. So, radical Islamic terrorism. Okay, so now you're a big person for naming your enemy. Well done, 3 cheers for you. But it's just ridiculous. Like he goes against himself so many times, he contradicts himself so many times, and it's taken 3 days for him to actually properly condemn it. And by saying, he didn't even use any substance, he just, it looked like he was reading off something that someone had given him to read, and like people were just saying, like, will you condemn this, like, white supremacist violence? Because it is what it is. And he was like, oh yes, we condemn violence, and anyone, like, who commits this sort of bigoted behaviour, whether it be KKK, white supremacist, neo-Nazis in this country, are wrong to do so, etc, etc, etc. And then he just started talking about, like, we are all born under one almighty God, and we should all love each other, and we shouldn't respond with hate, and we are all the same. And it's like, really? It just goes to show what sort of a person Donald Trump is if he cannot respond straight away by condemning, you know, this violence. Someone should just go and tell him, like, mate, there was a war like 70 years ago in which we fought Nazis, and it's the reason why we're still probably speaking English right now. So, you know, you should condemn Nazism where you see it in your own fucking country. It's happening in your own backyard. Really, as a response to your behaviour, your attitude in normalising, empowering and emboldening that sort of behaviour that makes people think who are already harbouring those sorts of feelings, these anti-immigrant, racist, xenophobic, neo-Nazi, white supremacist, KKK feelings, they think, well, you know, if he hasn't condemned it, if he hasn't said that this is wrong, and, you know, encouraging violence and beating people up in streets, then yeah, I'm going to go out and do it because no one's told me otherwise, and I feel great about myself that I can now go out and, you know, start beating up on black people and anyone that disagrees with me and anyone that doesn't look like me because I'm a superior race. And it's just like, have we really gotten to this point in present day, like 2017, where the leader of America, the President of the United States of America, cannot immediately condemn Nazism, fascism, right-wing extremism in his own country when he's already threatened nuclear war on another country, threatened military intervention in Venezuela, and said multiple sexist, racist, xenophobic, like, against so many other people and places and countries that, like, just, it's gotten to the point where you have to draw a line. You have to, you know, call him out on what he's doing. We've regressed so much to a point where we've just dropped so low that the only option is it's violence and hatred and just this bitter attitude towards other people. And it's so sad to watch because it's like, what can you do about it? And it's just been perpetuated by media, like right-wing media, telling you to look the other way because it's all the fault of those people over there. Like, those other people, it's not us, it's not the government that's dividing you. It's black people, it's gay people, it's poor people. As long as that keeps continuing, as long as there's other people to blame, then the rich will keep on getting richer at the expense of poor people. That's what it is, folk. Even if Trump is not directly responsible for the events that unfolded at the weekend, he is responsible for them after the fact. He is a whistleblower. He is a dog whistle for domestic terrorism and white supremacist terrorism in his own country. And, you know, by not calling it out and by not condemning it straight away, he has cleared the path throughout his campaign to allow that emboldened behaviour of white supremacists, KKK members and neo-Nazis to perform this sort of terrorising, violent hatred and bitter xenophobic racism to take place in his own country that is only getting worse as a result of him bending over backwards to accommodate his white voters. That, I admit, not all of them are racist, but that core group that were in Charlottesville on Saturday, it's disgraceful. It is disgraceful. And, you know, when asked about will he condemn and confront the white supremacists that were marching that day in Charlottesville, what did he do? He stood up and walked out of the room in which the press were interviewing him. Walked out of the room and did not address that situation. Disgraceful. Only until the third day did it take for him to be dragged in front of the press, in front of everybody else, in front of the cameras, to actually say what everyone wanted him to say. What a disgrace. This guy needs to be removed, and how the hell are we going to get ourselves out of this disgusting situation where it's just turned into a shitstorm of violence? So, that's the video for today, folks. If you want to rate, comment and also subscribe, please do so. I would love it. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned till the next video. Bye.